My background is big corporate America, running big, large organizations. The last job I had was $1 billion P&L, 6,000 people, 54 countries, and I woke up and said, time to do something different. And with a couple of co-founders, we founded Antimus Group about 4 years ago, and it's really a meta startup of startups. We are trying to build a new financial services for 21st century, one startup at a time. We invest geographically across the world, investments in the US, UK, Israel, India, Germany, about to do some in Africa, and we also do advisory. Our theme is really that it's not just the innovation happening in startup, it's also about how to help the incumbents embrace that transformation and change the business model they have today. So I've been asked to speak about payments and rethinking payments. So this is just a quick journey through what some of the thoughts there are, and a little bit tongue-in-cheek and questioning some of the topics that are prevalent in the media today and the industry, which are considered the hot topics. So I'll just try to give you a quick guide through it. So what's the problem, payments problem we're trying to solve? We've always had a desire to exchange and trade, and in what the real, what currency to use. Bitcoin is the latest addition to the set of currencies, and we've gone a little bit. Life has gotten a little bit complicated. We've gone from this kind of exchange, where it was simple barter system, to a little bit more where there are lots of people involved in the value chain. Even though the last innovation really in this value chain on the screen was in 1970 when the ATM was invented. Since then, nothing's really changed. Even today, if you go to Barclaycard and ask them, about 80% of the revenue comes from the value chain established in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, right? So when people talk about innovation, very little has happened here. So what's the perspective from a consumer point of view, right? I want to buy, I want it to be easy. And from a merchant point of view, I want to have low cost, low barriers to acceptance, and I want to be able to accept readily any payment type, and would be able to accept that. So people often talk about payments and payments being a problem and trying to solve for the payments problem, but there is no such thing. No one walks around as a consumer saying there's a payments problem, right? No one talks about that. I never heard of any consumer saying, I have a payments problem, in the developed world, of course. So what is the problem we're trying to solve? It's very simple. It's about convenience. And there are some vectors to the convenience angle. It's about time, it's access, security, but it is about convenience. How can I make that purchase as quickly as possible? So, but the world has changed a little bit over time, right? Over the last few years, and the last decade or so. I'm not sure if anyone has read Carlota Perez's Economic History and Technology Revolutions. If you haven't read that book, I would recommend reading it. It really talks about every 50, 60, 70 years or so, we go to a massive technology revolution, and we are in the middle of one again, where we're moving from a very industrial age to the information economy as we speak. And the first fundamental difference between this age and this technology revolution is the consumer. The consumer is actually leading the battlefront, as opposed to what used to be the governments and big corporations. How many people at home have better technology at home today as a consumer, as an individual, than you do at work? A show of hands. Right? That was not the case. If you had gone around a few years back, that would not have been the case. Your technology at work would have been superior, much better, but suddenly the consumer is at the front. And we have industry after industry that's going to a revolution. These are some industry examples: the publishing industry, music industry, photography, travel industry, information, Wikipedia. I used to have a whole deck of Britannica encyclopedias in my house. It's all gone. All the things that we took for granted are no longer there. And after all these tech industries have changed, and this similar thing is happening to the finance industry, is going through its change as well. But it's not just technology that has broken these business models, right? It's that technology has changed the consumer behavior that's broken these business models. So it's very important to understand that. So what's the consumer look like today? What is a digital consumer? You often hear this term, people talking about digital consumer. What is that? How old is that consumer? What gender? What nationality? Economic status? Culture? Any idea? What is a digital consumer? Any thoughts on it? Is it a 16-year-old? Is it a 24-year-old? Is it a 50-year-old? It's all of the above, right? Yeah, so all of us are digital consumers. And so what does that define the new consumer? And really, regardless of we do work across the world in developed markets and emerging markets, and we come to realization it actually doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what profile, what gender, what nationality, what culture background, what economics means you have. Everyone's on this path, and they're no longer differentiating between what is digital and what is physical. So what's the consumer look like? What are they looking for? What are they trying to do? How are they interacting with the world around them? They're looking for transparency. I no longer want my charges, the bank charges used to get hidden. I want to be very transparent. I want to know exactly what I'm paying for. They want to participate. They want to be part of the journey of creating the product. They want to be part and have a say in how to create a product. They don't want to be told what to use. They actually want to use their community and have a social element to it, understand from the social element as to how should they spend their money, where should they spend their money, what's the right product. Think about all the Expedia stuff and all the people using for travel as an example. But the same thing is happening in finance. They're trying to rely more and more on the social network as opposed to being told what they should do from a bank. It's about insights through data. Tell me what data I'm using, how am I using it, what can help me do the next transaction, how do I save. I want that information real time. It's about journey of learning. Teach me through gamification, and make me understand all this complexity in finance. Break it down. How do I get the financial inclusion thing going? A lot of people don't even understand what basic money principles are, right? So how do you make that happen? It's also about real-time feedback. I want to be able to have a say. I want to be able to tell the institution what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. And this is where the battleground is. And so all these elements have to be thought through in any business you're setting up today. Any digital business has to take account all these different elements from a consumer's point of view. Okay, so some quick hot topics. We've heard of the mobile pause. You guys have heard of payments and wallets around you. NFC is a big topic. Let's explore that a second. So mobile pause. You see all these little gadgets coming out, Square, iZettle, Level Up, all these guys are doing it. So what is that? Is that really a big transformation in the industry? Or is it just extension of the industry to folks who didn't have readily available payment devices? And so it's really extending the status quo. It's not really changed anything, right? So suddenly, and you can tell, look at the number of people who come out like Square-like products. Every day there's someone walking around with a Square-like product as if all of us wanted another product to add to our iPhone, and that's the real cutting-edge change. And think of evaluation what Square is. Even Square is no longer thinking about this as a hardware thing because it's already moved to a software play. That's the reality, right? The future is in the software, not in the hardware. We're not going to walk around with various devices just for payments to be accepted through the device, right? Payments, applications, and wallets. It's a very busy space. Last count we did, there are 600 companies out there. 600, this is a very quick search. There are probably a lot more than that who are presenting you wallets. O2, Pingit, all these names you may have heard of in the marketplace, everyone coming with a wallet. And here's the paradigm is very simple. I'm a consumer, I want to pay you. I have the ability to pay you through cash, through card, through bank account. And you're asking me to now go look into a wallet and say, I can happily pay you on my O2 wallet if you are O2 customer. Otherwise, I do what? I go back to cash, card. So what is the problem that we're trying to solve? And really the key is, anything we're coming up with has to be 10 times, 20 times better for the consumer to adopt it, right? It's not just being some technology thing, and I walk into my, Starbucks and saying, here's my mobile, kind of thing, and wave it at the little device for them to accept my card that's present already in my wallet, right, in the back of my pocket. NFC has been out there since 2006. The industry has been talking about this, and I apologize to the folks who spend a lot of time on this. It's, it's been going on, millions spent. They want to go and change. What are we trying to solve, right? It doesn't disrupt the payment stack. It's costly to implement, both the consumer side as well as the merchant side. You have to put all these new devices in place, millions to be spent. It's still not available on a lot of folks' iPhones. It's not there. And what is the problem that we're trying to solve, right? I need 2 minutes. So it's like, consumers want to adopt it. So at the end of the day, the industry is trying to come up with technology solutions to a problem that we don't really have. I don't really want to go into my Starbucks and have to, is it really that important for me to, as an instance, to go and say, I'm going to pay with my NFC, which is 2.2 seconds faster, and still have to wait for my coffee anyway. So I'm happy to pay, take my 2.2 seconds and pay my regular card, right? So it's like, really the question is, we have to dig deeper a little bit behind these technologies and saying, what is it really going on? What are we trying to really modify and change? I'll skip over this, but some Bluetooth technology already arrived as taking over from NFC. But let's talk about some potential winners, right? Some potential ideas out there, which I think are one of is our portfolio company, rest are folks that we know from the marketplace. Moven. Moven is a bank. It's really not even a bank. It's a customer front end, customer interface that allows you to really think about your banking in a very different way. On your mobile device, you can look at how you're spending, saving, and living your life. And every aspect of your spending, saving transaction, you can get real detail, real insights, real time on your phone. The funny thing is that Moven is not a bank. Moven is just a front end. It's sitting in front of a traditional bank, 3 of them in fact, who are providing the basic infrastructure. So when we talk about revolution, this is completely revolutionizing how consumers are interacting with the financial services without changing any of the back legacy stuff, right? mBank is a bank in Poland, a really traditional bank in Poland, which has really put mobile at the heart of its thinking, put the consumer at the heart of their thinking, and really their mobile stuff has taken off, right? They have more customers on mobile and using the mobile channel as if a startup would be using it, thinking about it in a very startup way, thinking about all the social elements and real-time feedback, interaction, getting consumer to help build this product, and yet they are a very traditional bank. You may not know about VocaLink and Zap, but every time you use your ATM and debit card in the UK, you're using the VocaLink product, right? They are providing infrastructure behind it. And they come up with a product called Zap, which basically allows you to transfer money from your bank to another one person's bank on the mobile, real time, right? Again, using very traditional infrastructure, not really spending millions of dollars trying to reinvent the wheel, but really providing a very different interface on how they're interacting with the consumer. Yeah? And so that's really the thought I want to leave you with, is that we believe the winners will be people that put the consumer at the heart of it, as opposed to trying to think of some giant technology revolution that needs to change this thing. So that's the battleground. It's understanding the consumer and putting in the middle. So thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate, and if you have any questions, I'll be around later. Thank you.